What is meditation and its method? Let us take it a very simple, which is common to the teachings of all the masters. They have changed their expression, but they cannot get out of the teachings of the Eastern wisdom. So, the first thing, I have been talking about it clearly, that our teaching is free from the cult, dogma, belief, and religion. In order to explain intellectually through the thoughts, so we can simply say Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge, aims at the discovery of our true nature. How it is related to any meditation or any mindfulness. So we say there is a real self. Where is that real self? Is it self? Just take it as a pure consciousness. We are always working through that consciousness, going through the intellect and the mind and the body. Body is just a matter, unless the consciousness enlivens in the body. That's why we say when the person is dead, we say, okay, he has left. Means what? His body is there. Why he has left? So as long as we live, we identify ourselves with the body as if I am the body. But here the master says that real self hides behind the senses, mind, intellect, and it shines all the time. And Eastern wisdom is that instrument of knowledge, discovers that self. You have a manual of iPhone. You read this and you start working with iPhone. But if you have a manual of iPhone and you start working with a computer, the manual will not work. Same thing happens. How simple it is. Only the manual of Eastern wisdom that explains what meditation or mindfulness is will help us understand with a clarity. But if I want to explain what exactly meditation is through the manuals of the science, every knowledge is good, whether it's a science or Eastern wisdom. Eastern wisdom has more than 3,000 texts, so the science has millions of the text, different branches. So the Eastern wisdom has different branches: mindfulness, mantra meditation, kundalini meditation, japa meditation. You have lot of hundreds of practices. And we start arguing this is all the teachings are contradictory. Nothing is contradictory at all. So the first and the foremost thing is to clearly understand the meditation from the perspective of manuals of Eastern wisdom. And it simply says, can you transcend the sense organ which is acting as an instrument of knowledge to know the world outside? The mind is an instrument of knowledge to conceptualize the world and work in the field of the science. The Eastern wisdom says, we will tell you the method, we will give you the steps of the practices by which you can transcend sense organ and the mind. They are definitely the instrument of knowledge, but for meditation it will not work. because we want to find out what is beyond and behind the mind. After going behind and beyond the mind, Buddha says emptiness, nothingness, it is okay. Other masters says it is the self, the true nature, pure consciousness. That also is true. It is their expression. And Kundalini masters say that the Shiva merges with the Shakti. That Shiva is pure consciousness and Shakti is the consciousness force of the Shiva. That needs to be understood. Second point, when I said that Eastern wisdom is the instrument of knowledge, it means in deep meditation that knowledge is revealed to you. What is that knowledge? Knowledge of the true nature that is independent, that is free, that is of the nature of permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom. When these two things are clear, then we can come into, then we say that, okay, what it needs to be done. We have to work on the mind. Instead, the mind constantly works on us. Then only we can go beyond and behind the mind. I can work on the car. I can park in the garage. I can park it outside. I can park in the middle of the highway. Anything is possible. So if I work on the mind, I can place this mind to a state of objectless. One of the great masters, referred by even the Buddha, praised him too much, Master Kapila, who says, Dhyanam nirvishayam manah. The objectless state of the mind is meditation or mindfulness. Objectless state. What is that objectless state? And what about the objectful state? The mind contains the thoughts, feelings, sensation, images, past impression, anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict. All these are in front of the mind, so mind knows them. They are the objects of the mind. Whether it is an anxiety or a pleasure or thoughts or feeling or sensation, good, bad, high, low, everything. We know the world by the mind. So it becomes an object of the mind. So the master says, you start working on the mind so that you can help the mind to leave all the objects, all the now contents of the mind. Now where there is no content, so the no content, it is the state of nothingness. So when we discover that and we remain in that state, it helps you to move into the state of mindfulness. Then what happens? The last part, and then we will do the practice. Now there is no object in the mind. So the master says that these objects are nothing but the dust on the mirror, if we consider the mind is the mirror. So now the dust is cleaned. The mind becomes like a mirror. There is no content coming from the world. The same way something happens when you look into the mirror, which is very clean, you see your image. Same thing. The real self reflects into that self and gives you the knowledge to see this. It is the state of permanent peace. It is permanent happiness. It is the truth. It is you are love. Why you are expecting love from outside? The wisdom is within you. What is that wisdom? I know myself. Permanent peace is there. Why you are expecting and craving for peace outside? When that happens, that changes the mind. That experience changes the mind. Experience in the mind changes the brain. Where you have for the last 30, 40 years, the neuroscience research shows that a regular practices of meditation, what it happens that they use the three word neuroplasticity. It means the brain changes its pathways. What is that pathway, for example? One example, that brain creates a pathway to fall into anxiety, into stress. It creates a particular pathways and triggers, outer event triggers, and I go into anxiety. So when those brain pathways are changed, neuroplasticity, when they have also suggested, many research studies proves that a regular practitioner of meditation undergoes the process of neurogenesis and epigenetics. It brings about a change in the DNA. Obviously, it happens when you reach to the higher state of meditation. One question remains unanswered by the science. Science does the research studies. It has taken, say, for 100 subjects, 100 people, they are doing meditation. This is the practice of meditation, and this is the result. Good, well and good. But our teachers ask a very important question. You are doing meditation. Are you a meditator? Are you in the state of meditation when these datas are collected? The science has no clue. Science simply says, oh, we apply the 5 steps and they are doing it, breath awareness, and we have noted down, we have observed the physiological and biochemical changes. The Eastern wisdom says that, are you in the state of meditation following the same steps? May or may not be possible. Let us